Hello, so what we're going to do here is we're going to do a very quick retouch. If you're looking at retouching a little bit more, then you need to go and see my previous donut retouching video. I'm just going to touch on it just slightly in this video. Now in this video, this is going to be a part of a package net. We're going to be extending this to the bottom, but we're going to rotate this 90 degrees. We're going to fix up some of the icing as usual. So let's dive into it. So this one's a little bit more along the intermediate side of things. So let's go to image. We're going to rotate this image first of all. So rotate clockwise. And we're going to extend this image this way to the left. So what we need to do is we need to go over to background, layer here, and double click on that. We're going to call this one here original. And click on OK. Now we're going to go over to image, canvas size, and here as default, because it's a default installation of Adobe Photoshop, I'm going to change it from inches to, let's say, millimeters. And let's give this a nice dimension of, let's say, 2000 millimeters, and click on OK. So you see here, it's shifted both, it's actually increased it from the middle outwards. So I'm going to press Command Z or Control Z on the PC. I'm going to go back to image. I'm going to go to canvas size. I'm going to do the same thing again, but this time around I'm going to go over to this image right here and click on to this button. So if I now change back to millimeters and I change this back to 2000, it's going to grow this direction only. So let's try that out. There we go. So it hasn't increased a warp into the image, it has just extended the canvas outwards. All right, so we know that's working there. Let's see if we can increase this board now. I'm going to go over to my, my marquee tool, which is this one here. I'm going to now select this part of the image. All right, so now I'll go to edit, and now I'm going to use this thing here. I'm going to use content aware scale. So I'm going to now drag this off now. No, hang on a second. What's going on here? They've changed it. Aha. We now turn off this lock button over here. And let's try this out now. Double click. And now what should have happened is that Photoshop has calculated the original image, and it's actually increased the dimension of that surface there. So you need a predictable surface that these donuts are on. We can go back and fix this crack up in the plank. It's very easy to do. Next up, we can figure out a way to straighten this image slightly. We go over to the, where's the ruler tool? Should be around here somewhere. No, not the hand one. We want the ruler tool. I find it very annoying, if anyone's there in Photoshop land, I find it very annoying that you change things around often where tools are located. There it is. So it's a ruler tool there. I'm going to drag a line from one side to the other side of the image, right? And I'm going to go now to image, rotate image, and I'm going to click on arbitrary, click on OK, because this is filled in automatically, click on OK, and now my image is kind of straight. Right, so now I'm going to fix up this donut over here. Now make sure you go to File and Save As for the time being, because this image is pretty big now. I'm going to go over here and say here extended, save it in there. Yes, don't show again. Next one's compatibility. So now it's saving. All right, so now let's fix up this donut and go over and duplicate this layer. And I can go over to the quick selection tool, for example, and I can select some of this donut icing because I want to fix this up so it goes right to the edge. I'm going to press Option. I'm going to deselect the donut itself. I just want to select some of the icing. So here we go, and I'm going to just get rid of some of this other selected bit that is left over by accident. There we go, nice and clean. So this is just a selection at the moment. I can now go over and press Command J or Control J on the PC to make a new layer. So what's happened here is that I've got this new layer like this bit of icing here is a new layer. All right, so layer 1. We're going to go over to Edit, then we go to Puppet Warp Tool, and we press over here, make a selection over here. So I'm just putting in dots of points of where I don't want it to be modified. So over here, for example, I don't want that to be shifted. I'm going to also anchor those ones as well. So these here are anchors for the Puppet Warp Tool. And I need to do it over here too, don't I? There we go. So now I can go over here, for example, and I can increase the size of this icing. So it goes right to the end of this donut. So you can see that I'm using those larger triangles from the start to try and get this working nicely. I can also now fix some of this up. I can use some of these boxes here to finesse this icing over here, for example, to make it a bit nicer. Yeah. Now I like that that's turned out quite well. I can finesse this a little bit later on, but I've just thought I'll show you how to do that. I press Return or Enter on the PC, and we have this all fixed for the time being, anyways. Now, to start fixing this up a little bit more, so we notice there's some blemishes that we've introduced there now. So we go and make these two layers merged. So we press Shift and then click on the other layer, and then we go and right click on that layer, and we scroll right down to the bottom. What's it doing? We go over to Layer, and we go to Merge Layers. So they're the selected layers. So you can see here that is the selected layer through here. All right, so I've got this one here selected. I now want to fix this up. So I go over to the spot healing brush, and I can go around drawing in lines and things to actually get rid of blemishes. So it was originally set up to remove pimples and wrinkles and things from people, but it works a treat with food photography, for example. So you can go around fixing those things up. You can use the Puppet tool to fix all this icing up here throughout all these bits of icing. One thing that we know as well is that this is slightly underexposed, so we can go over to the adjustment layers. We change the exposure up slightly to about here, and that's nicely exposed now. And we can also increase the saturation as well, ever so slightly. So bring it up to about, let's say, about 6 or so. And you can see the differences there, sort of popping a little bit more. Probably not on an RGB screen, but you can see it on an Adobe RGB screen. So that is it for that. You can go around and clone this in so that it looks like it's all one. You can now add this into, let's say, Adobe Illustrator behind a package net and have your packaging stuff there. This could be on one side or wrapping around the side of a pack, for example. Some pretty cool stuff like that. That'll be it for the time being. Thank you. Bye.